My name is Tyler. This story begins in the summer of 2017. I was 17. My parents had just moved us to a town called Fieldpine. It was deep in the woods of northern Minnesota. The population was under 2,000. There was one grocery store, one gas station, and silence. The kind of silence that only lives far from everything else. We did not move by choice. My dad lost his job in the city. The only work he found was in construction up north. A cousin of my mom died earlier that year. He left behind a house and land no one wanted. It was 2 stories, surrounded by trees, miles from the nearest neighbor. My parents called it a blessing. I called it a nightmare waiting to happen. The house was old, built in the 1930s, brown wooden walls, a sagging porch, peeling paint. It looked like it was waiting to be forgotten. It creaked in the wind, even when there was no wind. Every door had a lock, on both sides. Bedrooms, closets, even the pantry. Who locks a closet from the inside? The basement was worse. Narrow stairs, dirt floor, low ceiling, old light bulbs swinging on wires. It smelled like mold, and something else. Like something died down there, a long time ago, and never left. But we had no choice. We moved in. The first few nights were quiet, too quiet. No streetlights, no cars, just crickets, wind through trees, and a thump inside the walls. My mom said the house was settling, but it sounded like footsteps. It always started at 2:30 in the morning, slow creaks, floorboards groaning, step by step, outside my room. I thought it was my dad, maybe going to the bathroom, but it happened every night, same time, same sound. And it always stopped at my door. There was never a knock, never a voice, only silence. I told myself it was pipes or dreams until the 5th night. That night, I saw it. A shadow under the door. It stood still for a whole minute, then it moved away. 2 weeks after we moved in, I found a door. I had never seen it before. It was behind a tall cabinet in the hallway. The cabinet was crooked. I bumped into it, and it shifted, just enough to show the door. The door had no handle, only a rusted keyhole. There were scratch marks near the bottom, like something had clawed at it. I told my mom. She turned pale. She said that room was sealed for a reason. She said nothing more. Neither did my dad. That night, the footsteps came again, but they did not stop at my door. They walked down the hallway to the hidden door, and they did not stop. I heard scratching, like someone trying to unlock it. No keys, just nails. I froze, staring at the ceiling, listening. Then I heard it. A whisper. Let me out. A few days later, things started to go missing. Small things. A sock, my phone charger, a spoon. Then bigger things. My backpack vanished. I left it in the living room. I found it the next morning on the shed roof, torn open. My dad said raccoons did it, but raccoons do not unzip zippers, and they do not leave notes. Inside the backpack was a piece of paper, old and crumpled. 4 words written in messy, childlike writing. He comes every night. The note scared me. I did not tell my parents. They would say it was my imagination, or maybe a prank, but I knew better. That night I could not sleep. I stared at the hallway through the crack in my door. It was too dark. The nightlight was off. It always glowed orange, but now it was gone. At exactly 2:33 a.m., I heard it again. Footsteps, slow, heavy, one by one, coming from the basement. Not my parents' room, the basement. Each step made my skin crawl. But this time, I got up. I walked to the door. I looked through the keyhole. The hallway was empty, but the sound was louder. It was at the far end, the hidden door. Then silence. 10 long seconds. Then a bang. Loud, like someone threw their body at the door. I ran back to my bed. I hid under the covers, shaking. There were 3 bangs, then scratching. Then the whisper came again. Let me out. The next day I went outside. I needed to clear my head. There was a swing in the backyard, hanging from an old oak tree. I sat on it. The wind pushed me gently. I tried to forget the whisper. Then I saw him, a man at the edge of the woods, maybe 100 feet away, wearing a brown coat, a wide hat. I could not see his face. He just stood there, watching me. I stood up. He did not move. He did not wave. He did not leave. I backed away. Slowly I went inside. I looked again through the kitchen window. He was gone. That night I told my mom. She went quiet. Then she said, "You are not the first to see him." The attic was locked. My dad said it was off limits. The key was on top of the fridge. One morning, they went into town. I took the key. I opened the attic door. It smelled like dust, old paper. Cobwebs were everywhere. There were boxes, newspapers, broken toys. One box was full of letters, all addressed to someone named Thomas, all signed E.M. At first, they were normal, talk about gardens and weather. Then they changed. One letter said, "I heard him again last night, walking the halls, scratching at the walls, growling behind the door. I thought sealing it would be enough, but it wants out." Another said, "It spoke to me. No mouth, no breath, just words in my head. It promised peace. It lied." The final letter was torn. It said, "I cannot stay here. The room is weakening. The locks will not hold. If you find this, do not open it. Burn it. Burn the whole house." Then the air changed. It got cold, like ice. I turned to the ladder. Someone stood at the bottom, tall, thin, no face. Then it vanished. After that, everything got worse. I heard voices inside the walls, sometimes laughing, sometimes crying. Lights flickered, even though the wiring was new. Doors opened on their own, even when locked. My sister Abby was 9. She said she saw a man with a hole for a face standing in her closet. My mom started sleepwalking. She never had before. One night I found her standing by the hidden door. She was whispering, "Not yet, not yet, not yet." I had to shake her to wake her up. She did not remember any of it. My dad said we had to stay. We could not afford to leave, but I knew we had to go. We were not alone. Something else was there, and it was getting stronger. 3 nights after I read the last letter, the banging came back. It came from the hidden room, but this time it was different. It did not stop after 3 hits. It did not scratch. It screamed. Not a person, not an animal. It was like 1,000 voices all at once, crying, laughing, whispering, screaming. I fell to the floor, hands over my ears. The sound hurt. The lights flashed. My door shook. My sister screamed. Then silence. Sudden, complete. I opened my door, slow. I saw it, a black trail, thick and wet. It looked like tar. It stretched from the hidden door to the stairs. I followed it downstairs, each step slower than the last. The trail ended at the basement door, and the door was open. I should have run. I should have woken my parents. I should have called someone. But I didn't. I grabbed the flashlight. I went down the basement stairs. It was freezing. My breath fogged the air. The light in my hand shook. The trail led behind the boiler into the darkest part. Then I saw them. Symbols drawn on the wall. Circles and lines, stars and slashes. A huge pattern that made me dizzy. In the center was a small box, wooden, old. It had a carved lid, a strange star on top. My feet moved closer. My hand reached out. I could not stop. Then I heard it, my name, whispered right behind me. Tyler. I turned. No one. The lid opened on its own. Inside was a human tooth, yellow, rotten, covered in black. The flashlight flickered, then it went out. Darkness, then footsteps, running straight at me. I ran, up the stairs, into my room. I slammed the door, shoved the chair under the handle. I did not sleep. The next morning, Abby did not come out of her room. My mom knocked, no answer. We had to open the door with a screwdriver. The lock had jammed. Abby was sitting on the floor, staring at the wall, rocking slowly, humming. The sound was familiar. It was the same hum from behind the hidden door. "Abby," my mom said, "are you okay?" She turned to us. Her eyes were black, not just the pupils, all of them, like they were filled with ink. She blinked. Her eyes turned normal. She smiled. She said, "I am fine now." But the voice was wrong. Too deep, too slow, like someone pretending to be her. That night, she stood in the hallway, outside my door, and whispered my name, over and over, for 3 hours. 1 week later, he came back, the man in the hat. But this time, he was not in the woods. He was at our front door. I saw him through the peephole. It was midnight. He stood still. He did not knock. He did not speak. He stayed there for 10 minutes, not moving. I recorded it with my phone for proof. But when I watched the video later, he was not there. Just blackness. No man, no hat, nothing. My mom found me staring at the screen. She sat down beside me and said something I did not expect. "Tyler, there is something we have not told you about this house. The end. This story has now come to an end. If you enjoyed it and want to hear more thrilling and interesting horror stories, then don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my channel. Thank you for watching my video.